Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome class 7th in your online physics class. So today I start the chapter electricity and magnetism. This is chapter number 7. So you all have heard this word magnetism and electricity. You all know what is electricity. And we cannot imagine a life without electricity. Electricity is used in homes, offices, and in schools and in industries. In fact, everywhere. So, have you ever wondered how does telephone and electric bell or motor, these all devices works? Have you ever wondered, have you ever thought that how these devices works? So students, these devices works on the principle of magnetic effect produced by electricity. So electricity exists in many forms like wind energy, solar energy and thermal energy. Electricity is also one of the basic forms of energy. It is used in the number of ways. For example, we use electricity to run machines and to light our houses. We use number of appliances such as refrigerator, fan, electric iron, television, air conditioner, washing machine and heater. So they all run on electricity. It is a controllable and convenient form of energy and can be produced and transmitted to required places. So the whatever the devices like electric bell and motor, they all these devices are work on the principle of magnetic effect produced by electricity. Thus, there is a relation between electricity and magnetism, which we will going to learn in this chapter. So, in this chapter, we will learn about electricity and magnetism because there is a relation between electricity and magnetism. Okay, so first is sources of electricity. So there the various sources of electricity are electric cell, solar cell, electric generator, battery and main supply. So first we discuss all these sources of electricity in this chapter. So first we discuss about the electric cell. What is an electric cell? So, the most basic and simple source of electricity is an electric cell. An electric cell is also known as electrochemical cell because it converts chemical energy stored in it into electrical energy. Okay, so this electric cell is consists of two electrodes. Here you can see the two electrodes in the figure. These two electrodes are oppositely charged. It means that one electrode is positive and the other electrode is negatively charged. Okay, so the electrode which is positively charged is known as anode. Here you can see the in the figure that anode is given, and this anode is positively charged. As you can see that this anode is connected to a positive terminal of the battery, right? Yeah, and the another electrode which is negatively charged, and you can see that it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and this electrode is known as cathode. Okay, so anode is positively charged and cathode is negatively charged electrode. Now these electrodes are immersed in a solution. You can see that these both the electrodes are immersed in a solution. And what is this solution? This solution is called electrolyte. This solution is electrolyte. So when an electric cell is used to draw current, a chemical reaction take place in it. As a result, chemical energy stored in the cell converts into electrical energy. Thus the cell becomes the source of electricity. This electrolyte, it is made up of chemicals. So whenever this when electric cell is used to draw current, a chemical reaction take place in this electrolyte, and then that chemical energy which is stored in the cell is converted into the electrical energy, and thus the cell becomes the source of electricity. So this is the basic diagram you can see here. It is the basic diagram of electrochemical cell, that it consists of two electrode, one is anode, one is cathode, and a battery and an electrolyte. Okay, so anode is a positively charged electrode and cathode is a negatively charged electrode. So this is a simple source of electricity. This is an electric cell. Okay, now electric cells are of two types. First, primary cell, and second is secondary cell. So first we study about the primary cell. The primary cell, the electricity provided by a primary cell is due to irreversible chemical reaction. Irreversible, you all know the meaning of irreversible. So we get the electricity from the primary cell due to irreversible chemical reaction taking place in it. It means it cannot be recharged. So primary cell cannot be recharged, hence it cannot be reused. So the example of a primary cell is a dry cell. Dry cell is an example of a primary cell. Now we study about the construction of a simple dry cell, how this dry cell is made. So the dry cell is made up of it is called, why it is called a dry cell? It is called a dry cell because whatever the chemical stored in it is not in the liquid form. That is why we say it a dry cell. Okay, so in a dry cell you can see in the figure that there is a carbon rod. So in a dry cell we have a carbon rod, and this carbon rod act as a positive electrode. I have told you that there are two types of electrode, one is positive, one is negative. So here the carbon rod act as a positive electrode, or you can say it is act as a anode. Okay, so and this carbon rod is enclosed in a mixture of manganese dioxide and charcoal, and the charcoal is in the form of form of powdered carbon. Okay, so here you can see that the mixture of manganese dioxide and charcoal, this carbon rod is surrounded by this mixture. Okay, it is enclosed in this mixture, and it is filled in a bag, and that bag is known as a muslin bag. Okay, so here you can see, here is a bag, this bag is a muslin bag, and inside this is a mixture, and that mixture is manganese dioxide and charcoal. It is a mixture of manganese dioxide and charcoal. Okay, and a moist paste of ammonium chloride, plaster of Paris and flour is used as electrolyte. So here in this figure you can see that there is a electrolyte, this yellow colored, you can see it is marked with the yellow color. It is a electrolyte, and it is a what is this? It is a paste. It is a moist paste. Moist paste of what? Moist paste of ammonium chloride, plaster of Paris and flour. Okay, and this is used as electrolyte. A zinc container, then a zinc container, and this zinc container act as a negative electrode. Okay, here you can see a zinc container is there, and it act as a negative electrode. That it means that it act as a cathode. So this zinc container is placed in a leak proof cover, and the top of that cover is sealed with a brass cap. You can see the brass cap here. It is sealed with a brass cap. Okay, And so when the cell is connected to a bulb with copper wires, so when you connect this cell with a bulb uh, with copper wires, what happens? Chemical reactions take place in it. Okay, due to this chemical reaction, what happens? Current is produced. Thus a cell produced electricity by converting chemical energy into electrical energy. So when all the chemicals inside the cell are used up, the cell becomes dead and cannot be used anymore. That's why such cells are called primary cell. It means that they are non-rechargeable. Okay, when all the chemicals is used up, it stops working, and these types of cells are known as primary cells. Now advantages of a dry cell is this, that it is a lightweight and small in size. It is cheaper. The small size of a dry cell makes it suitable for powering small electronic devices. It can easily be carried from one place to another, and there is no fear of leakage. As I have told you that it is covered in it is placed in a leak proof cover, and the top is sealed with a brass cap, so there is no fear of leakage. And the disadvantage of a dry cell is that it cannot be recharged. Once the chemical stored in it is used, then it will be thrown out. We cannot use it again. Now what is the use of a dry cell in a torch? Dry cell, you all know that we use a dry cell in our torch. Dry cell is a in a torch act as a source of electricity. So a torch has 2 or 3 cells placed inside it. Okay, these cells are joined in such a way that the positive end of one cell touches the negative end of the other cell. As I have told you that that brass cap is the positive end, and that zinc container is the negative end. Okay, so we always joined the cell in such a manner that the negative terminal should be connected to the positive terminal of the another cell. Okay, so as you can see in the figure that the negative sign of the one cell is connected to the positive side of the other cell. Okay, so this is how we place a cell in a torch. So they are connected to and these cells are connected to a small bulb through a switch. Now when we switch on the torch, what happens? The bulb glows, and when we switch off the torch, the bulb does not glow. It means cell provide electricity to light the torch. So the dry cell are used in a torch as a source of electricity. Okay, and the other uses of a dry cell is that we can use dry cell in radios, tape recorders, calculator, wristwatches, wall clocks, transistors, and TV remotes. So this is a dry cell. Dry cells are not actually dry, they contain electrolyte in the form of paste with enough moisture. The moisture present in the electrolyte helps in the flow of current. When a dry cell is made totally dry, when you make a dry cell, when you don't use any moisture in the electrolyte, then it will not work. So dry cell is not totally dry, but it contain enough moisture so that the current will flow through the will flow. Okay, now the secondary cell electricity provided by a secondary cell is due to a reversible chemical reaction take place in it. It means that it can be used again and again by recharging it. So a secondary cell is also known as accumulator or storage cell. Cars buses, inverters, and emergency lights use secondary cell.